Erev Tov, Rabbi. Something important that the Shulchan Aruch teaches us is the laws of Nidarim, the laws of vows. So, a lot of people have a problem with this sometimes. They say about David HaMelech, that he liked to make Nidarim. He would say, about everything. I'm gonna do this. I take a vow, right? I promise I'm gonna do this. I swear I'm gonna do this. He always was like this, David HaMelech, And sometimes what happens is it gets you into trouble. This kind of thing, It's not a good thing really to make vows. So it says in the Shulchan Aruch in Yerodea that a person should try to avoid, making vows. Don't do it. Just, whatever you want to do it. Why have to talk about it? If you want to do something, do. Why talk? You don't need a big mouth. Just, with your own hands, do what you want to do. There's no purpose of that. Not only that, right, it says that he's a Rasha, if he does this. He likes to make Nidarim all the time. Like this, Rasha, a person like this. Not a good thing to do that. Because why? What's the reason why? Because sometimes you can't keep it. This is the problem, So why force yourself to be in a situation like this where you can't keep it, and then they punish you for this, So what they say is like this: that a person who makes the neder and he delays it, he's late. He didn't keep it on time. He made a neder. Now it's like 2 years later, he still didn't keep it. This is not good, So you know what they do, right? If you don't keep the neder right away and you delay it for a long time, so what happens is, they start to look in your records. They open up your records, your file. In Shamayim, there's a file there. In Shamayim, they open it up and they say, you know what? He doesn't keep the neder. He made a neder 2 years ago. He doesn't keep. Let's see, let's see what else he's got over here. His maasim, his deeds. What he's doing, this guy. What kind of stuff he's doing. They check you. And if they find some kind of sin that you did, they're going to punish you for that too. Understand? Because why? Because you made a neder, you didn't keep it. So this is what they say about Yaakov Avinu, that they punished him because of this. You remember the story? Yaakov Avinu, what happened there? Right? When he went to go to Lavan's house to run away from Esav, so what happened was that he made a neder to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know what the neder was, right? If Hashem will guard me, I'm going to give Maaser, right? Maaser, 10%. Right, yeah. Maaser. Aser, right? So the truth is, he said twice the word Maaser, so it's even 20%. Whatever. But anyway, right? It's like twice. So he said, I'm going to be Maaser. But the problem was, he went to the house of Lavan. More than 20 years he was there. He didn't keep the neder. He didn't keep it. He forgot about it. He was too busy over there, fighting with Lavan. All kinds of problems over there. Right? All kinds of issues. Shalom bite problems over there. With Lavan. So he wasn't able to keep the neder. He wasn't concentrating. He got lost a little bit. So when he started to come back to the house of Lavan, what happened? He got punished, because he didn't keep the neder or he delayed it. He delayed it for a long time. More than 20 years, didn't keep it. This is what happened. So what did they do? What was the punishment that he got? What was the... I'm sorry? Yeah, this was not really the punishment. You know what it was? The punishment was what happened with Dinah, she got, kidnapped by this, right, the Shechem. You understand? They say this happened because he didn't keep the neder that he made. So you see from there, even at tzaddik like Yaakov Avinu, they punish you if you don't keep your neder. Even if in the end, by the way, did he keep it? Yeah, of course, but too late. That's the thing, 20 years we have to wait for you? They're waiting in Shemaim, they're watching you. Okay, where are you? It's about time, keep your neder already. What are you waiting for? So that's why he got punished, So what happened? Oh, so now listen to this, right? The Chazal say over here, what happened when Esav came to meet Yaakov? What did Yaakov send him? He sent him gifts, right? Matanot. What gifts did he send him? He sent him animals, right? All kinds of animals, right? This animal, that's a chamorim, right? Kvasim, all kinds of stuff. Izim, he sent him. So they say, what happened? Because he didn't keep the neder to take maaser. So who took it in the end? Esav took it. This is what happened to him. Another punishment that came because of the neder. You understand? That's what they say, Chazal. That if you don't keep your neder, for tzedakah, for maaser, what happens, right? Esav comes and takes it. So you better keep your tzedakah, you better keep your maaser. Otherwise, Esav is waiting for you, right? You know who's Esav? Uncle Sam, right? Parking tickets, moving violations, right? All kinds of stuff, income tax, right? Right? All kinds of things like this. This is all Esav. So you should know. One person here asked me about this. A friend over here. I'm not going to say his name, but he said, I'm having problems. I'm losing some money. I lost this money. I lost that money. So, I told him right away. That usually means you have to give more tzedakah. That's why you're losing money. Because Esav is coming and taking your money because you're not giving it to tzedakah. This is the problem. This is why you're losing your money. And he said, yeah, but Rabbi, I'm giving. So yeah, okay, he's giving. It's true. I believe you. I believe you. But the thing is, you're not giving enough. Probably that's what it is. You got to give more. If you're losing money, that shows that you're not giving enough.
How many percent? 15%.
So minimum we said, right, 10%, according to the laws of Maser. Maximum 20%. 20%. 10 to 20 is good, Nice. Good. And what about more than 20%? I'll tell you guys something, maybe you don't know, but I don't talk about these things. My grandfather, I come from, Georgia, Tbilisi. I was born over there. So my grandfather was the richest man over there, in Tbilisi, in that place. He was very, very, very wealthy. And so, my grandmother, I saw her, before she passed away. She was here in New York. And you know what she told me? She says, how did he get so rich like this? Became like a big tycoon, biggest, richest guy over there. So she said, because when he used to get his money, right, for business, 40% he would give tzedakah. 40%, not 20%, 40%. So he did extra, So Hashem gave him extra, right? Kol mosif, mosifim lo. That's the way it is, But that, they say the Chazal that don't give more than 20% unless you're like really wealthy, you're stable, very stable. Why? Because sometimes when you give more than 20, sometimes you lose your own business, too much. That's not good, not so good, So who should give more than 20? Somebody who's already, rich, millionaire, he's doing good, he's got extra money, extra. He's got more than he needs, So there, okay, we're not so worried about it. But somebody who's, just a regular guy, making, 100,000, 200,000, even $500,000, it's not so much really. So there, it's not a good idea to give more than 20%. Only if you're like really a rich guy, really very wealthy. Okay, whatever. That's the whole discussion in itself. But anyway, coming back to what we said, right, that nedarim is not a good thing. So says the Shulchan Aruch, not only that, but a person also, should not make a neder even for a mitzvah. Listen to this, even for a mitzvah you shouldn't do it. Why? Because if you don't do it, they're going to punish you. So therefore, says Shulchan Aruch, we all come right up to the bima, we say, right, chai, 10 chai, 100 chai, right, 50 chai. We all give, Michael, right, this, right, 101, 202, right, 505, whatever it is. We give, but you really, if a person is smart, what you should do? Say beli neder, like this, because who knows if you're going to give this money. It says in Shulchan Aruch, like that, when you give, chai, 10 chai, say beli neder. Just in case, who knows? Unless you have the money to give right away. You got it in your pocket, like you have it right there. In the bank, whatever. You can go to the bank and pull out the money, and give it right away. Okay, then you can make a neder.
Some people every Friday make it the Atar Nadarim.
Yeah, okay, everybody does it once a year, right? At least we do once a year or twice a year. Yeah, we all do. But the thing is, that this Atarat Nadarim that we do, it doesn't cover everything. It doesn't cover everything. It covers only certain things. So don't rely on that, for everything. So a person should not do this lechatchila, to make nadarim. That's a whole discussion in itself. So therefore, they say even for a mitzvah, say belo neder. Even for a mitzvah. Why get yourself into trouble? What are you, a hero? You're a gibor? You want to be gibor? No, this is no good. Don't be gibor. Say belo neder. What you gonna lose? You're gonna lose something from that? Protect yourself. You understand? That's the whole thing. Even for tzedakah, that's the way it is. Say belo neder. And unless you have the money right there to give, then you can make a neder. That's what it says. Another thing, we see there in Shulchan Aruch, something interesting. He says there, right, that if a person is in trouble, he's got like a difficult situation, and he wants to make a neder to get out of the trouble, so this he can do, because that encourages him, to do something extra, something. But that's only if he's in trouble. But if he's okay, normal, so don't be a hero. Don't make nedarim. Say belo neder, and that's going to be very good, right? Whatever it is. They say, by the way, that the truth is when you say something, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's only a neder if you say a word of neder. I'm making a neder. But if you don't say that, it's not a neder. But the thing is that when you say it about a mitzvah, right, it's a neder anyway, even though you didn't say neder. It's a neder anyway, because you said it for mitzvah. You understand? There's all kinds of words, by the way, that connote this, in the Talmud brought down, all kinds of words, But the thing is that if you don't say neder, it's not a neder, but for mitzvah, it's a neder. If you do it for mitzvah. That's the thing, So don't do it, don't get involved in these kinds of things. Just say beli neder, right? Then Hashem will help you, right? That's the best thing, believe me, if you want to get into trouble. Okay, great. So I'll tell you guys one more thing that I want to discuss. We had a question. They asked about using a sponge. Somebody asked me this morning about, are you allowed to use a sponge on Shabbat? To wash dishes, right? That's the question. So the truth is that the Shulchan Aruch Gemara talks about the sponge. And it says like this, the Shulchan Aruch. It says you can use a sponge only if it has a handle. But if you're squeezing the sponge itself with your hands, then you're not allowed to use it. So what kind of sponge was that? It was a sponge that was like made out of some kind of a fiber, that came from the sea. So that's what they used in those days. But nowadays, by the way, we have something else, right? We have, these plastic sponges, right? Synthetic, right? Nylon, whatever it's made out of, all that stuff, right? So is that the same thing or it's not the same thing? It's a little bit different. You're right. You know why? Because they say the poskim, the achronim, that the sponge that we have today, the nylon, whatever, this plastic, it doesn't really absorb. It goes inside there, but it doesn't really absorb because it's not an absorbent material. This material, the plastic material, doesn't absorb. But nevertheless, right, most of the achronim, Shmirat Shabbat Kil Chata, and also many other, Yakut Yosef also, they say that anyway, if it's like they're close together, all these plastic, synthetic things together, like our sponges, he says don't use that. You know why? Because it's derabanan. Rabbinically, there's also squeezing. Because you're squeezing out, it gets absorbed in there, a lot of water coming out when you squeeze it, so therefore, they say don't use that on Shabbat. So if you want a person that wants to use a sponge for Shabbat, what kind of sponge should you buy? There's like a special one, right? You know what I'm talking about. It's like not together so well, it's like apart, They're not together, all the plastic pieces, the right? So yeah, it's a little bit apart, right? You can there's holes in there, You can see, right? So there, the water doesn't get absorbed in there, because they're not close together so much. It's not so those you can use for Shabbat. It's a special sponge for Shabbat, If you go to Wasserman, place like this, supermarket, for Jewish supermarket, you can find them over there. Also, there's a metal one like this, metal, metal strings, one connected to the other. There's a metal one, and there's also a plastic one. Inside, there's a lot of air, so the water doesn't get trapped in there. You know what I mean? So this you can use for Shabbat if you want to wash dishes. No problem, right? This kind of a thing. But a regular sponge, it does get, absorbed in there, even though it's synthetic. So therefore, the achronim say, don't use this. It's a rabbinical problem there, to use a sponge like this. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנן המדרש אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לקדוש ישראל, לפיכך חיבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר. התגדל וחדש